Hey guys, Greg Denning. I think one of the most important things that you can do for your children is to read to them. And that's a pretty bold statement. And you might be like, oh, come on, you're overlooking that one a little bit. But I'm serious about this. It makes the biggest difference. Someone said, I know it's been attributed to Abraham Lincoln. I'm not sure if he said it, and I may even kill the pump here. But it's, as fortunate as me you may never be, I had a mother who read to me. And that last line's what mattered. I may slaughter the rest of it, but it's that last line that matters, right? I had a mother who read to me. And, I grew up in a broken home, and I was talking to my sister the other day about reading to her children and how I read to my children. And I remembered that when I was little, I was probably 8, and she would sit down and read to me. And those were the fondest memories, and that actually sparked my love of learning. And so I started reading books, and I got into like Tom Clancy, right? And pounded all his big books, and I just got in this love of reading. And I'd struggled with reading, and I was a slow reader. But it lit that fire in me. And that's what education is. It's not so much the filling up of a bucket, as someone has said, but the lighting of a fire. That's what it is. It's inspiring a love of learning. And so these huge benefits come from reading to your children. And I want to challenge you today to read to your children every single day without fail, even if it's just a short chapter, right? Because a couple of things happen. One, they start to love learning, okay? And then they want to read themselves, and they become lifelong learners. And that's the best habit you can give your children, to be lifelong learners. And that's what's made all the difference in my life, of going from living in the streets and being, depressed and broke and ignorant and lonely, to living a phenomenal life that we live. Love it. Oh, and I get to be an educational mentor, which is even all better because of all the learning and the reading that I do. So that's the one big benefit. Become lifelong learners. Okay, you want to light that fire of excitement for learning. The second is you get to discuss great principles and great ideas, right? And as you do that, as you start to discuss those ideas and those principles, things start to happen. Some changes happen right away, and others start to happen gradually, where they start to make better decisions. They start to be mature and more self-reliant, more independent, because they start making connections. And then you go out and you have experiences with them, and they're like, oh yeah, Dad, it's like that time we read in this book, right? And I'm like, yeah, exactly. Or somebody does something, and they're like, hey, Mom, you remember we talked about that time where this? Yeah, that's what's happening. That's that principle. And they start to make connections, and they start to build up the values and the principles in their lives. Oh, man, I just can't overemphasize the importance of reading great books to your children. Don't read garbage. Read great books and discuss the ideas. The goal isn't to get through the book. The goal is to get the book through you and through them. For Rachel and I, a lot of people ask, well, so how have you guys caught the same vision? How have you lived such a unique life together? And it's because of reading. We would read great books together. In fact, that was one of the major qualifications I wanted in a wife, right? But one of the major characteristics is she's got to be a reader and love reading and learning and improving and applying what she learns. And so that's made all the difference. We've read together, and we've grown together, and we've captured a vision together, so we work together. And you know that principle, like a team of horses or a team of oxen that are equally yoked together and they pull together, can pull way more than the sum of two individuals. And that's how it works, but it comes from reading. The third great benefit that comes from reading with your kids is the bond. It's awesome. Literally, often my kids will just climb on top of me, and they'll just pile on. It's like, whoa! And I'll have 3 or 4 kids on top of me, and we'll sit there and we'll read a great book together. And there's that connection. And so we read a little bit together from the scriptures in the morning, and then my wife kind of takes over, because I go into mentoring, and my wife takes over and does, reading. She reads a ton to them during the day, and then mine is at night. And so every night before bed, we read great books together. And we have this bond in learning together, bond in the stories we've read together, bond in the principles and the lessons we've learned together, and just spending time together doing something that matters. It's magical. So I challenge you, from today onward, Spend time reading with your spouse and with your children. It will make all the difference in your life. Reach upward. And for more great stuff about strengthening your family and getting a phenomenal education, please visit worldschoolacademy.com and gregdenning.com for great resources and free trainings. Have a fantastic day, and remember, read every day to your children.